Does this count against our recording time?
Yeah. Hello, Mother. This is Half Mental, the show that's 90% baseball and the other half mental. I'm Holt.
And I'm Dan. We are in the middle of what is traditionally called hot stove season.
Cold.
Stove's been a little milder than normal.
Yeah. Maybe it's because the rest of the country's just frozen.
Yeah. Maybe it's the, what is it? The, cheers.
Cheers. It's the,
What's the name for it?
Dennis, you remember the name of the storm in the Northeast right now?
Bomb.
Yeah, bomb cyclone.
Bomb cyclone. It's not the hot stove this season. It's the bomb cyclone.
So typically by this time in the off season, essentially all the important free agents would have signed.
Right.
And in fact, very few have signed.
That's right.
It's been mainly relievers, sort of inconsequential position players. Justin Upton got a big deal early on.
With the Padres, right?
With the Angels.
With the Angels, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about what is perceived by many as the biggest offseason signing.
So from Japan, the two-way star Shohei Otani came across the Pacific to play Major League Baseball.
Across the pond, as they said.
Yeah.
Say.
The pond's the Atlantic, right?
Well, I mean, right.
Anyways. So he's like 23 years old or something.
Yep.
And for the last couple years has been the best pitcher and the best hitter in Japan.
Yeah.
Because he pitches and plays outfield for the Nippon Ham Fighters, right?
That's right.
So he, really interesting, under the new labor agreement, he could have waited 2 years and come to the Major League Baseball as a free agent and probably signed a $150 million plus contract. He chose instead, he was just like ready to, he wants to challenge himself with Major League Baseball. He came over under the old posting system through which whatever team signs him sends $20 million to his old Japanese club and pays him the minimum for the next 6 years. Or the next 3 years, and then he's subject to like arbitration rules.
Dang, I guess I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
He gave up tons of money. So it was a super unique situation because everyone's just pretty confident that he's going to be successful here.
Right.
And he is so inexpensive versus somebody else of his talent level.
Yeah.
So he sent out like a questionnaire to every club on like basically asking for a sales pitch from them, and then weeded them out and had a couple rounds of meetings with each team. And he ended up with the Angels.
The Angels, who we've talked about twice already.
Yeah, who knew? And another interesting aspect of it is because he wants to continue to pitch and play the field.
Right.
So he sort of needed at least a little bit of a game plan from the team on that. So he wanted to go to a team that he was confident would allow him to do both of those things. Would
deliver on that.
To an extent, though, nobody knew what he really wanted either. It was very just like open.
Yeah.
He didn't say he didn't really say it was important that he's in a big city, or
he said he had a few parameters, I thought,
but they just sort of came out and nobody really knew.
But he didn't want another Japanese star on the team, right?
That was reported, yes.
Reported. We don't know if any of this is true. So, and then also,
which is interesting because Yu Darvish is a free agent and is sort of the only really big other Japanese player, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that didn't even really add up, you know?
He also, I thought he said something about like wanting a team to like build around him. Like, so not a team that's like necessarily in World Series contention right now. But again, this is all just...
everything's a little... there's assumptions built in there.
I'm excited to see how that pans out. I hope he plays both ways. I want to see it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the test is like, let's say he comes out and proves to be an effective starting pitcher who you also play in the field 3 days a week, and he's hitting like 200 after a month.
Right.
Or however long, 2 months. When do you go, hey, this isn't working anymore? Because he doesn't have any more power. he now belongs to the Angels for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
They have done their convincing. Now they just, I mean, they obviously want to keep players happy to an extent. But, I mean, it's now their job to do what they see fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if he proves himself pitching, I feel like he's going to get the rug pulled out from underneath the defense pretty quick.
Yeah, because pitching is harder. I mean, it seems harder to come by. It's like more valued in general.
Yeah.
If he starts DHing, though, he starts taking DH at-bats away from Pujols.
Right. That's why that was a weird pick. And also, one thing I could see him being used for is like a defensive substitution in the late innings of a game. If his defense
he'd be
is
like
great.
he'd be a good candidate to like pinch hit in the 6th inning or something, and maybe get 2 at-bats.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. So we've got that. He's been compared to Babe Ruth. Mainly being a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah.
Because there's like somebody in the Cardinals minor league system that kind of toys with it, but isn't really good enough at either.
Man, I just saw a Babe Ruth stat that like made my jaw drop.
Was it?
God, I hope you're about to say.
I mean, the stat that I saw bouncing around Twitter the other day, one of the like baseball historical, I don't remember who it was.
This is gonna be it.
But it was like he walked the first batter, got thrown out of the game.
Yes, this is it.
Babe Ruth in a game walked the first batter, yelled at the ump, and got ejected. And then the relief pitcher came in and got 27 consecutive outs.
Through a perfect game,
although it is not his perfect game. It's a combined no-hitter.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough.
That's crazy.
That's almost as bad as Rich Hill versus the Pirates last summer. Oh.
It's bad.
Okay, so now I think we talk about what sent shockwaves out.
Yeah.
Maybe more so than Ohtani. Giancarlo Stanton.
Yep.
Is now a Yankee.
Yeah.
With a Yankees lineup that produced the most home runs, right? They were. I think they were the team. They as a team led the American League in home runs last year.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
So it's the first time. This is cool. It's another Babe Ruth stat. It's the first time that the team. It's the first time a team that led the league in home runs is adding the individual home run leader to their lineup the next year.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Did the Yankees do that when they traded for Babe Ruth?
Added Babe Ruth.
Cool.
So they did that.
I haven't heard that one
before. The Yankees have done this before. They're the only team to ever do it.
So, yeah, I mean, there were these two things looming over baseball for like 6 weeks after the World Series ended. It was Ohtani and Stanton.
Yeah.
And Stanton had a full no-trade clause. It was well known that the Marlins were going to trade him. He is owed $295 million over the next 10 years. And what I think really confused it is he has an opt-out after 3 years. So teams didn't even know that they were getting 10 years for him. And the Marlins wanted a bunch of top prospects, and which is hard because he was owed so much money, there wasn't a lot of like surplus value tied up in him. He's a good player, but as far as financially, he's on a fair market contract basically.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals were considered among the final contenders for Stanton, and I bet there's a legitimate chance that I checked Stanton news 100 times a day for 2 weeks.
I bet
I just couldn't, because he could make his decision at any time.
I bet that's undercutting what you did.
Like I did it, like I would like, kind of stir awake at 2 a.m. and then just like lay awake and think about Stanton being on the Cardinals. Like it's unreal. He won the MVP last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got to a place where I was like, wow, it looks like the Dodgers might sign Ohtani and Stanton.
Yeah, that was a legitimate option.
Yeah. And we got neither. I have this theory.
You want to talk about the Dodgers a little bit?
No, I don't. That I stole from you.
Okay.
That I definitely want to mention in this episode.
Okay.
About the 2019
Los
Angeles Dodgers.
So I think a big part of what is holding down the free agent signings for this year is I think teams are already looking to next year.
Right.
Because Kershaw can opt out of his current deal. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado.
Just those
three. Three players that could each get $300 to $400 million deals and up.
Yeah.
They're going to reset the market. And so you're getting teams saving money this year. Like the Dodgers are trying to get under the luxury tax.
Right.
So next year they can go big without having to pay a tax on all their salaries.
Dodgers haven't signed $100+ million contract since Kershaw.
Yeah,
Which is for a while.
Still so upset at the contract that Turner took from them. It's just crazy.
Oh, that home run.
July. And Turner in the air to center field. That ball's hit well. Martinez on the run. This is
Again, the Cubs. Really quick before we move on from Stanton, one of the first couple episodes, we talked about teams that we like to watch that aren't our teams.
Yeah, and the Marlins were on the list.
Yeah, they won't be.
They will not be this year.
They might be fun to watch from like a Bad News Bears standpoint. I'm going to be watching, I guess I will watch 30+ Yankees games this year.
Yeah.
They're going to be.
Yeah, you're going to keep a way closer eye on the Yankees.
So much fun to watch.
It's nuts.
I feel like the the ball is just going to be.
Well, yeah, because in
flying
addition
out of
to Judge and Stanton, they have
Gary Sanchez.
Shortstop is Didi Gregorius.
Also, I know that they're apparently still interested in Machado for this offseason. I don't see Machado going anywhere this offseason.
Well, but the Orioles owner will not make a trade to the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that
because
true?
he hates the Yankees.
That's funny.
So
and they're in the same conference. I mean, or division.
Yeah.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, but I mean, the other argument is just you're getting rid of him and getting stuff back, and it's
Yeah.
just for 1 year, so who cares?
But Machado is going to be such a good card to have in July.
Yeah.
When someone's like on the fence.
Right.
You need someone like Justin Verlander to really push you to win a World Series, even though he didn't even win a game in the World Series. Right?
The other side of the coin of the Giancarlo Stanton,
Uh-huh.
the Marlins teardown. So they traded Stanton, and they traded probably their second best position player to the St. Louis Cardinals, Marcell Ozuna,
Yeah.
and are actively shopping Christian Yelich
and
JT Realmuto.
right, Oklahoma native.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. So Marlins got sold last year sometime. I don't know when that happened. Derek Jeter is like head of baseball operations or something like that. And they made it known from the day they owned the team that they wanted to get their salary like under a certain point. And so it's easy for teams to look at it and be like, well, they got to get rid of this guy. Oh, and they traded D. Gordon too.
Oh yeah, he plays for the Mariners now.
Yeah,
right?
and he's going to be center field. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's cool.
They're
I didn't
going to change
know that.
D. Gordon to center field.
Oh man,
He is practicing with Ken Griffey Jr., which is
insane.
awesome.
I wonder how his arm strength is out there.
I don't know. You're right, because second base is like the weakest arm position.
He
Probably.
potentially could run a ball to second base
faster
than he could throw it.
So yeah, everyone knew they were going to trade a bunch of their higher priced guys.
Right.
I mean, it led to them getting fleeced a little bit. My immediate reaction is it's like, oh, Derek Jeter's going to be in charge. He's like handsome in a suit and played baseball, so he's now in charge of our baseball operations.
Right.
But these other guys running baseball teams are professional baseball team runners.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
And I think you're seeing it a little bit. They like fired a few like farm directors and scouts and stuff like that in like really sort of like unprofessional manners. So he's like making mistakes because he doesn't know how to run a business because he's a shortstop. And it's just really interesting, I think.
Did you ever hear about the Derek Jeter gift baskets that he'd give out?
Yeah. I was actually talking about those a couple weeks ago with somebody.
Yeah, so I wonder if he has a similar approach to parting ways. I mean, he
does not.
Yeah.
He does not
So
give. He doesn't give team employees the same
treatment
that he did as one night stands. That's basically.
hilarious.
Well, yeah, because
Were
the other
gift
thing is like
baskets. Jeter, like, were they all Jeter stuff, or were they just like a?
Yeah,
nice...
I think he put like a jersey.
That's
in
what I
them
thought
and
too.
shit.
I thought they were
think
all
he
like
would.
Jeter based stuff.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, you just slept with Derek Jeter.
But like he never talked to Stanton during the whole process. Like people would ask Stanton about it and he'd be like, I don't know, Jeter's never called me before, so I don't know what's going on. Which is crazy.
Yeah, weird.
Did you see there was like a big photo of him early on at this like big desk, you know, it's supposed to be like a power photo. Like he's in a cool modern office and he's like behind a desk. He looks like he's signing papers or something.
Just like
he's got like two monitors. No, he's got like two monitors. But then he's got like just off to the corner of his desk, on its own stand an automatic hand sanitizer dispenser.
Nice.
It was so funny.
That's hilarious.
It's like, all right, I need my 2 MacBooks. I need my stack of papers to look important. I need my big glossy desk and the windows behind me, and this thing of hand sanitizer.
So the Marlins have a perfect playoff record. Did you know that?
Meaning
Not
every
perfect.
year they've made the playoffs,
Yes.
they've won the World
Not
Series.
perfect in the sense that they've won every game they've been
Right.
in the playoffs, but they've made the playoffs twice and they've won the World Series twice.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to make the playoffs for a little while.
Right.
Oh, Jeter got they I'm sorry. This is
No, this is good.
they had like a town hall with all the season ticket holders, and there's the like famous Marlins fan. He goes by the Marlins man.
Right.
He wears like a big orange Marlins jacket, and he goes to a lot of games all over the country, and he always sits right behind home plate in his orange Marlins jacket,
Yep.
like every national broadcast. And he got up there with like a stack of papers, and at one point yelled at Derek Jeter, "Do you know who I am?" or something.
God, that's awesome.
And like Jeter, as a fabulously successful man, doesn't know how to talk to people because he's never had to.
Right.
And that's not even really his fault. But like the guy at one point said, "I've sent you emails," and Jeter said, "You don't have my email address." It's just like condescending, like it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, Jeter never really. He was always real quiet, and
Yeah. People always assumed he was professional because he didn't talk a lot.
Right.
So I think he's like got this job just based on his like invented public persona
Yeah.
of being intelligent and professional.
And,
And
everyone's
we don't really
finding
know
out
that.
he's just like
Yeah.
a kind of a hermit crab.
He's a hermit with crabs.
Here's your gift basket.
Pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah.
We have a spring training game on February 21st. So
Yeah.
we're close. We're more than halfway through the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Big predictions necessarily. It's just going to be amazing because like $1 billion is going to get spent still.
Right.
Like none of these guys have signed yet, but they're going to.
So we have
Like JD Martinez is going to sign a $100 million deal somewhere.
Right.
Eric Hosmer supposedly has two $140 million deals.
Yep.
Although I heard maybe the Royals one is made up,
Really.
which would
That's the
benefit
only
both
place-
parties.
That's the only place I would expect.
It would make the Royals look good to say, well, we offered Hosmer $140 million and he turned us down. And if Hosmer can tell other people he has a $140 million deal, it can push them, you know. So they could be using each other a little bit.
Interesting.
So the Royals will maybe not sign any of their big free agents.
Yeah.
And they can at least go to their fan base and say, well, we were prepared. We made him a competitive deal. Hosmer's going to sign.
Darvish.
Darvish has to sign. Arrieta has to sign.
Oh, I always forget about him.
One of those two guys probably ends up in L.A., I think.
Well, so that Arrieta, from what I heard last, was still like Cubs, maybe Cardinals.
Yeah, cards got thrown around. I don't think Arrieta has any much life left in him.
I don't want any of that.
I'd take Darvish. I know.
No, I would
I
still.
mean, you would. Yeah,
I would still take Darvish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's come out. If you haven't heard this is an interesting story. It's come out that the Astros knew what he was throwing in the World Series.
Yeah, he had a pretty obvious tip to his
He was
pitches.
tipping his pitches, so that's why they hit the fucking shit out of the ball.
They did not
Well,
swing and miss at a slider the whole time.
he's a grown man that just says fuck when he's mad.
The Rays already traded Evan Longoria, their best player in franchise history, probably, right?
Yeah.
He was pretty upset about it. So the
Yeah.
news came out like Evan Longoria traded to San Francisco Giants. And he immediately posted to Twitter, no, with no context.
Yeah.
But I guess he's their third baseman now, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. San Francisco just seems sort of like a dumpster fire right now. The Giants, that is. Okay. Well, that's all we got for off-season acquisitions and
That's
potential
our
acquisitions.
tepid stove.
Happy New Year, Half Mental fans.
Yeah. Hope everybody got some new baseball gear for
Oh,
Christmas. Holt got this Kershaw ugly sweater. I got a Springfield Cardinals hat.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting stuff. Always good to get Christmas or baseball themed presents for
Definitely.
Christmas.
Check out our digital Christmas card if you missed it. And yeah, so we'll be back in February, and then
And then we got big March plans, guys.
big March plans, and then season starts in April.
Yeah.
So,
Cheers.
cheers. Okay, so we actually recorded an episode the day after the Dodgers lost the World Series.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
How many did people like that one? Did it get a lot of views?
I've never looked
What?
at it.
Because I remember recording it, I just never saw it get released. Straight to the archives.
And we never released it, and we have no plans on releasing it.
The Library of Congress asked for it. So it's under Smithsonian.
Disney Vault.
Yeah,
It's locked away in the
it's in
Disney
the
vault.
half mental vault.
So anyway, maybe someday it'll come out, but sorry we never followed up with that. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hard clear. Oh my God.
That one got a little.
Do you need a napkin?
Warning you from.
No, fuck good.
Oh.
We hadn't started yet.
Got the soft opening.